Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when the world expects you to break, when pain stands tall like a mountain before you, daring you to quit, but you stare back with fire in your eyes and say, I'm Nguyen, watch me turn pain into power. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is a teacher, tough, ruthless, but fair. It strips away weakness, excuses, and doubt. It exposes who you truly are. And in that moment of struggle, when you stand alone, when no applause is heard, when nobody believes in you, that is where champions are born. Not on the podium, but in the silent war with their own limits. You will face days when progress feels invisible, when life is heavier than your shoulders can carry. But remember this, the road to victory is not meant to be soft. Storms create warriors, not comfort. You are not here to surrender. You are here to rise, to rebuild, to roar. Every scar you carry is proof that you survived. Every setback you faced is fuel for your return. There is greatness in you, not someday, not eventually, but right now waiting for you to claim it. And when the world asks how you kept moving when everything tried to stop you, you will smile and say, because pain didn't break me, it built me. Stand tall, push forward, turn your wounds into wisdom, turn your suffering into strength, turn your pain into power. You are not finished. You are just getting started. And the world has no idea what you're about to become, because no matter the struggle, no matter the fall, pain is a powerful teacher. It does not destroy you, it shapes you. Pain stands like a mirror, forcing you to confront the parts of yourself you often overlook when life is easy, smooth, and comfortable. When everything is going well, there is little reason to question your strength, your resolve, or your purpose. But the moment pain enters, discomfort shakes your world, and suddenly you are pushed into a corner where you must decide who you will be. Pain demands that you grow, that you evolve, that you become more resilient than you were yesterday. It does not arrive to break you, it arrives to build you. Every struggle you face becomes a chisel carving away fear, insecurity, and doubt, shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more unshakable. Think back to a moment in your life when you were deeply hurt, rejected, disappointed, or exhausted. In that moment, you felt like you might lose your sense of direction or identity. But from that very point of struggle came a new version of you. A version who learned, adapted, and rose beyond the limitation you once believed defined you. Pain introduces you to your capacity to endure. It teaches you that you are capable of more than you realized. It shows you the depth of your courage, the resilience of your heart, and the power of your will. Without pain, growth would be shallow. Without adversity, strength would be weak. Without hardship, your character would never be forced to expand. Pain pushes you into uncomfortable spaces so that you can discover new forms of strength within yourself. It shapes you into someone with empathy, discipline, and clarity. Pain teaches you to appreciate joy not because joy is rare, but because it becomes more meaningful when you've walked through fire to reach it. People who have never struggled often lack the depth of understanding that hardship creates. Pain teaches compassion, it teaches patience, it teaches gratitude, it teaches humility, it teaches you that life is unpredictable, but you are adaptable. It shows you that falling is part of the journey, but rising is where greatness lives. Pain teaches you to stand up even when everything around you tries to push you down, to speak even when your voice shakes, to try again even when you are surrounded by memories of failure. It does not destroy you unless you allow it to. The human spirit bends, but it does not have to break. Every painful moment holds a lesson hidden inside it, waiting to be unlocked. You may not understand the purpose of pain when you are enduring it, But once you emerge from the hardship, you recognize that it has shaped you into someone braver, sharper, more determined. Pain is not just a force, it is a sculptor. It removes the excess, refines the core, and reveals the strength you didn't know existed within you. It is the reason you rise when you could have stayed down, the reason you fight when it would have been easier to surrender, and the reason your spirit grows unshakable. Real victory begins in silence, when no one is watching and you refuse to quit. There is a different kind of power in those unseen moments, the ones that never make it into the spotlight, the ones with no applause, no recognition, no cheering audience. It is in those quiet, lonely hours that the foundation for greatness is truly laid. Anyone can celebrate success when success arrives, but only a few can endure the struggle that happens long before the world notices. It is easy to be motivated when people support you, when the progress is obvious. But when you are alone with your thoughts, battling self-doubt, fighting fatigue, pushing through discomfort, and there is no one to encourage you, that is where real victory begins to form. Success is not defined by the moment others see you achieve something great, but by the countless private battles you win internally. The alarm you answer at dawn when every part of your body asks to stay in bed. The extra hour of work you put in after everyone else goes home. The consistent effort you invest when results are slow, invisible, or unclear. These moments are silent victories, small, unnoticed, but immensely powerful. Each one shapes you into someone who does not need validation to keep moving forward. Because if you only work hard when praised, you are driven by approval rather than purpose. And purpose is what sustains you when the world goes quiet. The silence is not empty, it is full of opportunity. In silence, you confront your fears with honesty. You face the discomfort that most people run from. You learn discipline, resilience, self-control. You begin to understand that success is not an event. It is a lifestyle built piece by piece through repetition and perseverance. When no one is watching, your true identity is revealed. You discover what you're made of, what you believe in, what you are willing to sacrifice for the life you want. It is the unseen grind, the private preparation, the hidden effort that separates the dreamers from the achievers. Real victory is not loud. It does not arrive overnight. It grows quietly like roots beneath the ground, invisible but essential. You water your dreams with effort when no one claps for you. You struggle, fail, adapt, improve, and try again. This silent work builds momentum the world cannot see, not yet. You become sharper, stronger, more capable, and then one day, after years of invisible dedication, the results explode into the open, and people call it overnight success. But you know better. You know success was not born in the spotlight, it was crafted in the shadows. There will be times when progress feels so slow it seems motionless. You may doubt yourself, question your purpose, wonder if all the effort is worth it. But the refusal to quit is your greatest weapon. Persistence is not just continuing when you feel strong, it is continuing especially when you feel weak. Victory belongs to those who keep going even when motivation fades, when energy drops, when obstacles multiply. The world sees the finish line, but only you know the miles you walked alone to reach it, and that is what makes the silent grind sacred. So you show up again even when tired, you practice again even when results don't show, you believe again even when progress is invisible, because one day the silence will break and the world will finally notice what you built piece by piece in darkness. That moment will feel powerful not because you won, but because you know deep in your heart, you earned it long before anyone knew your name. Scars are proof of survival, not signs of weakness. A scar tells a story of someone who walked through pain and refused to stay broken. Scars are the marks left behind not by defeat, but by healing. They are the evidence that despite the struggle, the wound closed, strength returned, and life moved forward. Many people hide their scars out of shame, fearing they reveal moments of vulnerability or failure. But a scar is never about the moment of injury, it is about the journey that followed. It represents resilience, endurance, and the strength to rise again after falling. To have scars is to have lived, fought, struggled, and overcome. The strongest individuals are not the ones who never get hurt, but the ones who keep moving through the pain and come out the other side with lessons burned into their skin like history. Every emotional scar tells of heartbreak endured, trust rebuilt, hope reborn. Every physical scar reflects pain survived, fear challenged, and a moment that could have defeated a person, but didn't. Scars are medals of honor awarded by life itself to those who continue forward. They are the marks of warriors who have been tested and proven capable. A life without scars is a life without depth, without challenge, without transformation. Growth demands pain, and pain often leaves a mark. Weakness is not in the wound, weakness is in refusing to heal. Healing takes courage. To stand back up after life knocks you down requires far more strength than never being hit at all. Scars show that you have endured what others may never understand. They are reminders that the human spirit can bend without breaking. They whisper, you survived what once felt impossible. Instead of hiding them, let them be badges you wear proudly, because each one means you didn't surrender. You faced darkness and still chose to walk toward the light. Some scars are invisible, carried in the mind and heart rather than on the skin. These scars are no less real. They come from betrayal, grief, loss, rejection, or moments when hope seemed unreachable. But emotional scars also represent survival. They remind you of battles fought within, battles no one else witnessed, where you cried silently, endured quietly, and continued living even when the world didn't notice your strength. A hidden scar can be the greatest proof of courage. Scars shape you into someone wiser, more compassionate, more aware of the struggles others face. When you meet someone else carrying scars, even if silent, you feel a connection, a recognition between survivors. Scars teach humility. They teach gratitude. They teach empathy. They turn pain into understanding and endurance into wisdom. They remind you where you have been, how far you have come, and how much further you can still go. When you look at your scars, do not see weakness, see survival, see proof that life tried to break you, but you refused to fall. Storms create strength. Struggle is the birthplace of champions. Strength is not forged in comfort or convenience. It is built in pressure, resistance, and uncertainty. When life is smooth and predictable, you have no reason to push your limits or question your capabilities. But when storms come, when plans fall apart, when challenges strike unexpectedly, when effort seems to go unnoticed, that is when true strength begins to rise. Storms test your endurance, your commitment, your courage. They force you to face your fears and confront the parts of yourself that you would rather ignore. In the turbulence of struggle, you learn who you really are, not who you appear to be when life is easy. A seed cannot grow into a tree under perfect conditions alone. It must push through soil, darkness, pressure, and resistance. That struggle is where life begins, not where it ends. In the same way, champions are not born on podiums or in the glow of victory. They are born in the invisible grind long before anyone cheers for them. They are shaped in nights of doubt, failure, tears, and perseverance. Every storm you survive builds a stronger version of you, one more capable than before. Struggle teaches resilience, adaptability, patience, and determination, the qualities every champion needs. Without struggle, victory would taste empty. Without storms, there would be no strength to rise, You do not develop courage by avoiding hardship. You develop courage by facing storms that challenge your limits and force you to grow. A storm demands that you stand your ground when everything pushes against you. It teaches you to bend without breaking and to rise even when knocked down. Champions understand that struggle is not a setback, it is preparation. It is the sharpening of the blade before battle. It is the training of the spirit before victory. Every challenge you overcome adds muscle to your mind, fire to your heart, and steel to your character. People often admire champions for their achievements, but rarely see the storms that shape them. They don't see the nights when they wanted to quit, the failures that nearly broke them, the sacrifices they made, or the battles they fought silently. Champions do not emerge from comfort, they emerge from chaos, from persistence against all odds, from refusing to surrender even when progress is invisible. The storm is not your enemy, it is your sculptor. When you find yourself in struggle, remember that strength is being built where pain exists. Every setback is preparing you for a greater breakthrough. You may not feel strong in the middle of the storm, but strength is forming quietly beneath the surface. One day, you will look back and realize that the moments you thought would destroy you actually created the strongest version of you. Storms create strength, and struggle is where champions are made, not in victory, but in the fight, the endurance, and the refusal to give up. Greatness is inside you right now, waiting for action, not excuses. Every person carries untapped potential within them, a level of ability, determination, and brilliance that often remains hidden simply because it's never put into motion. People often believe greatness belongs only to the chosen few, the prodigies, the gifted, the lucky, but true greatness has less to do with talent and more to do with action. It is not something you must search for outside yourself. It is something you must awaken from within. You already hold the power to reshape your life, to build your future, to rise beyond your limitations, but that power stays dormant until you choose to act. Excuses are the chains that lock greatness away, while action is the key that sets it free. The difference between someone who succeeds and someone who remains stuck is rarely ability. It is consistency, discipline, and the willingness to try even when success isn't guaranteed. You can plan, dream, visualize, prepare, and wait for the perfect moment, but greatness does not respond to waiting. It responds to effort. It answers to movement. Every step you take, no matter how small, is fuel for momentum. A person who acts even imperfectly will always outgrow someone who remains frozen in hesitation, fear, and self-doubt. Excuses feel comfortable because they protect you from risk. Action feels uncertain because it exposes you to failure, but failure shapes progress. While excuses only maintain the life you want to escape, you do not need to become someone else to achieve greatness. You only need to claim the potential that already belongs to you. The strength, creativity, intelligence, and ambition you admire in others exists in you as well. It simply needs space to breathe. Think of every dream you have as a seed. If left untouched, it will never grow. But if planted in action, watered with effort, nurtured with discipline, and exposed to time, it can become something extraordinary. The potential is present, but realization requires work. You are not waiting to become great someday. You are capable of greatness right now. In this moment, with what you have and where you are, you do not need perfect conditions to begin. You do not need approval, applause, or certainty. You only need to decide that movement matters more than excuses. Every time you delay, doubt, overthink, or justify inaction, you bury greatness deeper beneath layers of hesitation. But every time you take a step, no matter how unsure, slow, or challenging, you bring that greatness closer to the surface. There is a version of you that already knows how to win. There is a version of you that is disciplined, focused, unstoppable. That version is not a fantasy. It is waiting behind your choices. Excuses feel safer than effort, but they cost more than effort ever will. They delay growth, limit progress, and extinguish potential. Action may be uncomfortable, but it transforms. The moment you choose action over excuses, your life changes direction. The greatness you seek is not a distant dream. It is an internal reality waiting to be activated through effort, courage, and commitment. Pain becomes power when you rise stronger instead of breaking down. Pain by itself is not strength. It is what you do with that pain that transforms it. Every person experiences hardship, heartbreak, loss, failure, and moments that feel unbearable. What separates those who fall apart from those who rise above is the response to suffering. Pain can tear a person down, or it can forge them into someone unshakable. It can leave someone wounded and withdrawn, or it can ignite the fire that drives them to rebuild a new, stronger version of themselves. The same pain that breaks another person can become the very force that empowers you to rise. It is not the pain that defines you, but the decision you make after being hurt. When pain enters your life, it strips you raw. It exposes fears you never confronted and insecurities you never acknowledged. It forces you to confront reality instead of living in comfort. In those moments, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads to bitterness, resignation, and defeat, while the other leads to growth, self-awareness, mental toughness, and a deeper understanding of who you are. Rising stronger does not mean you never felt broken. It means you refuse to stay broken. It means pain knocked you down, yet you found the courage to get back up and move forward with more wisdom, more resilience, and more clarity than before. Pain becomes power when you stop avoiding it and begin learning from it. Every hurt carries a lesson within it, sometimes about your strength, sometimes about your worth, sometimes about what you must leave behind to grow. Pain sharpens judgment, strengthens boundaries, and deepens emotional intelligence. When you rise from pain, you do so with knowledge that cannot be earned through comfort. You become someone who can endure difficulty without collapsing. You learn how to hold yourself together when everything around you seems to fall apart. That strength becomes a weapon no circumstance can take away from you. Rising stronger is not about pretending the pain never happened or forcing yourself to heal overnight. It is about embracing the process, slow, difficult, imperfect, and choosing growth over surrender. There may be days when healing looks like progress and days when it looks like survival. Some days you rise tall, and some days you crawl forward inch by inch, but both are victories because you did not collapse. Every step you take after being hurt is a step toward empowerment. The scars you carry are not reminders of damage, they are reminders of recovery. Pain can harden your heart or strengthen your spirit. You choose which one. When you rise stronger, pain becomes the foundation of transformation. It deepens gratitude, making joy more meaningful because you know what it feels like to live without it. It strengthens empathy, allowing you to understand others at a level only suffering can teach. It expands resilience, enabling you to face future challenges without fear because you already survived worse. Pain trained strength is unbreakable strength. When you decide to rise instead of break, you take back control. Life may have shaken you, but you decide how the story continues. Your endurance turns pain into power. Your growth turns hurt into fuel, and your comeback turns suffering into strength. Rising stronger is how you reclaim your identity, your confidence, and your future. Pain tried to break you, but when you chose to rise, you claimed power that no force can take away.